Today, we are at one of 3 crash sites for the USS Shenandoah. It was the first U.S. Navy rigid airship, one of 4. It was constructed in 1922 to 1923 in Lakehurst Naval Air Station in New Jersey. It was originally designed to use hydrogen, but after the 1922 fiery crash of the USS Roma, which was a U.S. Army Air Corps ship, the U.S. government decided that even though helium was rare and very expensive, they would go with helium and not hydrogen. The Shenandoah made its first flight on September 4th, 1923. It was the first flight ever by an airship using helium. Like the modern day blimps that we see, the USS Shenandoah, its airbags were actually constructed by the Goodyear Rubber Company. In October of 1924, the USS Shenandoah was the first rigid airship to have a transcontinental flight across the U.S. One of the publicity things that the USS Shenandoah was known to do was they would take letters, postcards, and leaflets and drop them, sometimes with parachutes, sometimes not. They just drop them out the windows and for part of the U.S. mail service. And they were relying upon Good Samaritans to find them and take them to the post office to complete their delivery. This was more of a morale booster than actual mail service. On September 3rd, 1925, the Shenandoah left for their 57th flight. Now, this flight was to go to the Midwest. They were going to go to over 40 cities and state fairs to show off air travel with the rigid airship. However, on September 5th, they encountered a squall line over Ohio. This squall line created an updraft. They went 1,000 feet upwards per second and ended up at an altitude of 6,000 feet. Their airbags were not designed for the pressure of that altitude, and their ship was torn in half. And when it broke in two, the aft section descended rapidly, and the 2 engine cars broke off from it. Now, the bow section, it also broke apart after the original breaking in half. The control car, it fell and it killed all 7 men on board in the control car. What was left of the bow section, they managed to gently land it. In all, in this crash, 14 men were killed and there were 29 survivors. After the crash of the USS Shenandoah, the U.S. government decided that there just wasn't a future too much in dirigibles. And it led to more of them going towards airplanes. As with most sites of disasters, there are some stories, but just a few about this site. It is said that in this area, within the 3 crash sites, and within its flight path after it got into the squall line, is said that people will be walking and they'll see a giant, dark, cigar-shaped shadow on the ground covering them. But yet when they look up, it's blue skies. The USS Shenandoah is one of many parts of history that not many people know of, but yet should not be forgotten.